Good morning and welcome, Trinidad and Tobago. Well, we are talking about the Barbados Food and Rum Festival 2017, and we are honored to have with us in studio Mr. Ryan Adamson and Corey Garrett. And just to tell you a little bit about Ryan, he's an award-winning mixologist 2017. He's actually the master mixer. All right. I understand he is also the mixologist for the year, this year being 2017. And we have Corey Garrett, who is the director for the Caribbean and Latin America at the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. Welcome, congratulations, and it's a pleasure to have you here in Trinidad and Tobago.
Good morning, Tobago. It's a pleasure being here as always. Always good to come across these shores to our second home sometimes, Trinidad and Tobago. And as you correctly said, we have Ryan here on hand this morning, who is the Caribbean Bartender of the year 2017. But as you said, we're here to talk about the Barbados Food and Rum Festival, and two very exciting things: food and rum. And every Caribbean person loves food and definitely loves rum. And many persons have been asking us, why food and rum? Why the name Food and Rum? The festival is actually in its 8th year this year. And just last year, we rebranded from the Barbados Food, Wine and Rum Festival. And we just dropped the wine. Why did we drop the wine? Because Barbados is the home of rum. And most people know, most people are coming to find out, rum was actually first distilled in Barbados. So Barbados, we take ownership that rum was first distilled in Barbados in 1703 by Mount Gay. So we've taken the heritage of the rum, we've taken the Caribbean cuisine, the international chefs, etc. We created this awesome festival, this awesome 4-day festival in the middle of November that we're trying to get everyone to come over and really experience the culinary fusions and the excitement, the entertainment, and the whole vibe, the whole festive vibe, not just at Crop Over, because we know many Trinidadians come over Crop Over, but outside of Crop Over, of course, there's also the Food and Rum Festival taking place the 16th to 19th of November, 2017, and of course for next year the dates will slightly adjust. And the Food and Rum Festival, as I said, is a 4-day festival. And it actually kicks off on the 16th, the Thursday the 16th at the Oystins Bay Garden. Now, most Trinidadians know they come to Barbados and hear about Oystins fish fry. So we're taking you there for the first event. That's actually a free event. So we're going to have some mixologists on hand. We're going to have chefs on hand. The award-winning chefs, of course, they're not here in studio with us this morning, but there's Craig Greenidge and Michael Hines. Of course, or to the top chefs in the Caribbean. They'll be there displaying their skills. Some other guests that we have in studio, of course, will also be there doing their talents from their different ends, etc. So the festival kicks off on Thursday the 16th, and then from Friday the 17th, we actually have our actual events, right? We have the Taste of the Exotic, which is the flagship event of the entire festival, where the chefs are actually paired with the mixologists to create these awesome combinations. So as the chef is cooking and he's creating his dish, the mixologists are there creating a drink or a liqueur to actually match and complement exactly what the chef is doing there on site. And that event is actually full of entertainment, full of pomp and pageantry, and it's actually held at the Barbados Concord Center. Now, I don't know if you know, but the Concord Center, of course, Barbados is one of the only places, or the only place in the Caribbean to actually have a Concord that's no longer in service station there. So we're actually going to be partying and dining onto the belly of one of the Concorde jets on that particular amazing experience.
That sounds electrifying.
But no, exactly. It's actually the exotic event. And that's the Friday night. Then we look forward to the Saturday, where we actually invite the patrons down to a polo game. Now, we've had to make the clarification this morning, very easy. That's not water polo, because I'm a former water polo player, believe it or not. It's actually the polo, the horse polo, the one where the guys get on the horses and stuff. So we actually have a polo event where we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to mix the culinary with the mixologist at a live polo game. So you're sitting there, you're enjoying your food, you're enjoying your local cuisine, the international cuisine. The mixologists are going to be on hand, of course, and the polo game, which is another exotic experience, so to speak, taking place right in front of you, and that caps off the Saturday afternoon. The Saturday night, we actually have then 2 award-winning chefs from the international arena. We have Chef Jean-Georges, and he'll be taking place doing his gourmet safari at the Cliff Restaurant. Now, the Cliff Restaurant is world-renowned. It's a world-famous restaurant, as one of the top restaurants in the world, actually. So we're going to have Jean-Georges there. He's going to be doing his thing, interacting with the customers, etc., the patrons, talking about what he's doing. But Saturday night doesn't end there, because we have a Trinity mix-up in the mix-up, believe it or not. Yes, we do.
Let's hear about this.
We have Chris De La Rosa. Now, Chris De La Rosa is based in Canada, but Chris is of Trinidadian descent, so he's very much Trini to the bone, believe it or not. So Chris is going to be on hand also as one of our international chefs, representing Canada / Trinidad and the Caribbean on a wider scale. And he's going to be at the Crane Resort. Now, the Crane, I know, is another hot spot, another takeaway that the Trinidadians very much like. So definitely, it was no coincidence. I should say it was actually probably a coincidence that these locations are actually mixed up about our neighbors here in Trinidad are accustomed to. So Chris is going to take charge at the Crane Restaurant that night, and he's going to be doing his culinary explosion. Of course, the mixologists are going to be on hand, etc. Now, the last day of the festival takes place on Sunday the 19th, And we start that day off with a beach experience. We all know that, you come over the beach and the clear waters and the beautiful sand. So we're going to take you down to the beach for a barbecue type setting. It's called the Flotilla at the Boatyard Beach. Once again, all the international chefs, all the Caribbean chefs, the local mixologists, etc., are going to be on hand creating these infectious aromas and culinary delights, etc., for that particular day. And that's actually the Sunday afternoon. It's a beach party full of entertainment. Local entertainers, of course, will be on hand. And then we cap the festival off with another international chef, Chef Tom Akins from the USA. He's going to be at the Tides restaurant on Sunday night, once again, going through his demos, speaking to his patrons, etc. So the festival is really built around food and rum, as I can say, or food and liquid, I should say, because it's not only rum that the guys will be working with, but definitely the festival is a very exciting time to be in Barbados. It's actually been growing into a very well-known festival around the region. Many of the Caribbean governments and the agencies have also been taking part in these culinary explosions and culinary events. I do know that Trinidad currently is in their restaurant week, so we want to say kudos and good morning, of course, to all the team that works on that. We'd like to come over some year. Maybe we can have some, some back and forth dueling and stuff to make the Caribbean basin a little bit more interesting as it comes to cooking and creating these exotic drinks, etc.
I want to bring Ryan Adamson, the Caribbean Bartender of the year 2017. I want to call you the Master Mixologist of the year 2017. That's actually how I introduced you. Now, tell me a little bit about how did you get into this craft and what has the experience been like for you?
Well, I got into the craft by, first when I saw the Mount Gay Rum Ambassador, Chesterfield Brown, working with some fresh fruits, and he was torching grapefruit skins and that kind of stuff, and it kind of fascinated my mind. So I started playing around with it, and then the passion just grew and grew until it just exploded.
And how long ago was this?
I've been bartending for about 8 years. Mixologist, at least 5 of those.
Yeah.
So not a very long time compared to other mixologists in the field.
And tell me about this event that is upcoming and the role that you see yourself playing in it.
Well, I am taking part in Taste of the Exotic, the Friday night event, which is to me the event of the events, where we have all the top local mixologists paired with all the top local chefs. So award-winning chefs from Barbados and mixologists as well. I'm paired with Henderson Butcher, who is the coach of the Barbados culinary team, and basically looking to tantalize the taste buds.
All right, so we continue our conversation this morning, and we have joining in with the conversation is Damian Williams, Master Mixer 2, freelance mixologist. Good morning.
That's right. Hi, morning Trinidad and Tobago.
Now, I would like to know a little bit about your past in terms of the experience you bring to the table at this particular event.
Okay, I was at the Food and Rum from inception, that's 8 years ago, but is more concentrated now on mixologists a lot more. So what we do, we create cocktails based on what the chef's menus are. Okay.
Challenging.
Well, it was in the beginning, but our thirst for knowledge grew, so we know pairings, so that's the important thing. So it's easier now for us to, create masterpieces where in the liquid form.
Now, is this collaboration, I have to ask, is this collaboration with the culinary aspect and the mixologist, is it a competition?
No, it's actually not a competition at all. It's actually all fun and games, believe it or not. Yeah. So the guys are coming together to pair off basically just to create that experience or that explosion, to show how the fusion can happen between obviously the foods and the actual liquids. So there's no competition there, as Ryan would have mentioned, or I think Damian would have mentioned. He's
fun.
Actually paired with Henderson Butcher, who's actually the coach of the Barbados team. So I don't think it'd be fair to have the coach participating in any type of competition there in Barbados. So the different chefs, etc., that come on board, as I mentioned before, we have Michael Hines, Craig Greenwich, Henderson Butcher, etc. So there's no competition. I mean, of course, it's a friendly rivalry at the end of the day. I know these guys really get into their craft and they really get going with it, but there's no actual competition. It's just to create the atmosphere, the vibe, and to really build the festival up to what it is and where it has come to today. And that is it's just all about the culinary explosion. I keep saying that word explosion because that's exactly what the festival is. I mean, the creativity behind the plates, the creativity behind the cocktails and the drinks that the guys actually create, it really shows where the mindset is and where the industry is. And Barbados is a destination that is very much where we're culturing ourselves right now as a destination where at any point in time you can always find some sort of activity to do in Barbados, no matter the time of year, from January to December. And our food and our people are key elements of that. So this festival is actually to bring the combination between our food, our people, the Caribbean itself, and then the international chefs and mixologists that we also have on hand.
Excellent. Now, Damian, I'd like to know what is most exciting about what you do?
Seeing the expression on the patrons when they leave, and even more so when they return, because that means that I've done something good, or they have, their palate was sensitized enough, that they would want to have the same cocktail again.
What does it take to become a master mixologist?
Well, first, we all, go to school, and our thirst for knowledge, that's what's most important. And our years of experience with the different flavors that we can easily, bind together, compare, contrast sometimes, that's what it's all about. So it's an experience in terms of communication with our patrons. So it's not just a rum and coke, something, you give the patrons and that's it. It's more...
you create something.
Exactly. For example, you can go into a bar and see a cocktail, and it's beautiful, okay? And you call for that cocktail. And even if it's not, that palatable, right? A mixologist would then come and talk about it, okay? And give an experience, and you would enjoy that cocktail a lot more rather than just, tasting it, and, it goes a step further.
Yeah. So I can describe to you, for instance, if I say like fruity drinks, and I give you a little bit about my personality, some of the drinks that I like, you would be able to create something
of course.
specifically geared to my taste buds.
Yes. For example, if you come into a bar and you don't know what you want, we can, take some mint, put it on our hands, come in front of you, hi, good evening, what would you like to drink? And you have no idea what you want to drink, but the aromas from the mint leaves would just, be floating around, and then you say, oh, a mojito, automatically. Okay, that's what the experience of a mixologist, the experience that a mixologist gives, that's what it's all about. You had no idea you were going to call for a mojito. But simple things like that, sensitize your palate, and you can easily,
So in terms of gainful employment, for young people looking on, and they have a passion for this kind of thing, and they're wondering, is it a viable option in terms of a career path? What advice do you have for them?
I'm telling you, this is what I do now. Believe it or not, I used to deal with nutrition for 15 years, okay? And bartending was my side job, and, it was my hobby. But then when the company closed, I went more and more into mixology, and it grew and it grew, and the rest is history. I'm one of the top mixologists now, and it does pay. A lot more now. But we do have classes and stuff like that. But the younger generation, we're trying to mold them into what we have grown into. Sometimes it becomes a little difficult because we see some of them that just wants to be paid rather than having the passion that Ryan and I and some of the other mixologists that are at our level, the passion for the art, okay?
Yeah.
But there's so many youngsters now trying to get into the field. Okay.
It's interesting that you enjoy what you do so much that it's not like a job anymore. It's a passion. You enjoy. It's great. It's actually quite rewarding.
It is.
So in our closing minute, I'd like to talk about where can people get information?
Well, of course, for the Food and Wine Festival 2017, you can visit www.visitbarbados.org. That's our BTMIs, are the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. That's our corporate website. So you can log on to the website, and it has all the information about the Food and Rum Festival, places to stay, accommodations, etc. But what's even better this year is that we've worked with the Caribbean airline carriers, both of them, believe it or not, and some local hotels in Barbados. And of course, we've played our part at the BTMI. We've created a special package of sorts. So should you be interested in coming to the Food and Rum Festival 2017, November 16th to 19th, you can, you should come over. Trust me, no, you definitely should come over. You can visit www.goingplacestravel.com. And once you log on to that website, Going Places, as you know, is one of the largest travel agencies here, travel hubs here in the Caribbean. You can actually buy these specially tailored packages that we put together, and the packages comprise of airfare, accommodation, and season pass for 4 of the events
Very
at
convenient.
the Food and Rum Festival. And the exact word what you said there is exactly what we've tailored this on convenience, because persons want to experience what is going on in Barbados, and they just want to, literally hit a click, one click, and they go. So you can get your airfare, your accommodation, and your event tickets. Various hotels are, of course, displayed. For Trinidad, of course, we'll be using Caribbean Airlines. And then you can visit the Food and Rum Festival and really experience what this explosion of culinary delicacies is all about. And I'll be speaking not only about the plate, but we also speak about the cocktails, etc., that the guys are creating, and then the entertainment, and of course here in beautiful Barbados.